Everyone wants more money, but most of us weren't taught how to create an abundant life. That's where the law of attraction, manifesting success stories show comes in. If you are ready to have more money, create more freedom, and experience more fun, turn the volume up. It's time to learn how to create the prosperity and life you have been dreaming of. Here's your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello and welcome to this episode. I am your host, Cassie Parks, and I'm back with the menopause guru, Jeanne Andrus. Welcome back, Jeanne. How are you?
I am great, Cassie. How about you?
I'm fantastic. I'm excited about this interview today. And as always, I want to know what's awesome.
What's awesome is things are going really well in my business. I have lots and lots of new contact points with my clients. The cleanse just went live this past weekend. It's April Fool's Day, and this is the 6th anniversary of living in my wonderful, amazing super house that I adore. And I am really feeling wonderful about getting my message out to people who really need to hear it.
I love that. How is that? The statement that you just said, I especially love. I'm feeling, was it excited about getting my message out?
Yeah.
Yeah. How is that different than 3 years ago?
I've had this message for a long time. I've known what it is. I've known that we as people kind of don't have a good understanding of who we become, we as women, beyond this change that happens to us. And I've known that it's important. And I've known that in a way that I've always known that I'm one of the prime people to get this message out. But when I don't feel like it's been getting across to people, when I don't feel like I've been actually touching the people I want to touch, it used to get tiring and heavy and hard. And I've done a lot of work in the last, 5 or 6 weeks on this cleanse. But it's exciting work. It's not hard. It's not, it doesn't drain me. It builds me up.
Talk about the different. Why do you think before, like your work and trying to get this message that you love, are passionate about, because you are the menopause guru, you teach women about their menopause journey, about going through this and what changes in their body and what happens that we might not know, and that we can fix what we do know what happens. So why do you feel like it was draining in the past and it's exciting and fills you up now?
Well, it's draining when it's not hitting, when it's not coming into fruition, I guess. Mm-hmm. And you don't know why, and you don't know how to fix it, and you think you've tried everything you can to fix it, and nobody seems to know what's wrong. It's interesting because I've run into several entrepreneurs that I know who have said things like, I don't know what's happened to me recently. I just feel burnt out. I just feel exhausted. I just feel fatigued. I'm not as happy. I'm not as excited about what I'm doing. And it's different than what I'm talking about with you. But what I see is them moving. Interestingly enough, one of the people was Sally Hogshead, the Fascinate person, who sent out an email recently saying this. And I look at pictures of her, and I look at things that she said in the past, and I say, she is dealing with menopause, and it's I can see that what's happening with her. But as many times as I've taken this to business coaches and to messaging people and copywriting people and all of this, nobody has ever been able to take the part of my client like you have, and which has been the difference in moving this whole thing forward, is knowing that what I'm saying is hitting the right ears.
Mm-hmm. And so I think this is super awesome and interesting because we've done a lot of work that has hit. And I think this cleanse is this whole different level. And you have somebody already signed up for it, right?
Two, I think.
Two, right? And so you've been, which I love about that. And I want to,
which is interesting because I have only stuck the URL out to a very, very few people. So the fact that I've already got two, I'm not even sure how that happened.
Right? You're not sure how it happened. Because I want to talk about how it's happened on an energetic level.
Well, energetically, I know how it's happened, but I'm not sure how technically how it's happened.
Right. But, okay. So there's so much here I want to come back to. I want to come back to this technical how versus energetic how and like talk about that. But what I'm hearing you say, what I started wanting to celebrate was the fact that you're not looking like 100 times a day to see how many people have signed up. Right? You didn't even know, right?
No, I just happened to get one notification through my email and I'm like, oh, okay.
Right? Which is awesome. Yeah. And so is it that's happening like that makes you feel like it's getting out there and landing? Or is it that you feel even in the work before you've really released it, that you're touching people, you're getting it? Is that what makes, because again, you haven't released it to the masses even yet.
Yeah, I think I actually put my first Facebook post out about it maybe an hour ago.
Yeah.
And it was something that I saw that I thought people would laugh at. And I happened to add a little note about day 2 of the cleanse.
Mm-hmm.
But the signups happened before that. And I just, it's a different kind of energy. It's a different kind of feeling that I know that right now, the things I'm saying are the things that people need to hear. Mm-hmm. And that because I feel an alignment to it, because I've always felt an alignment to my message, mm-hmm. which is interesting. But I felt like I didn't have the broader reach to it, if that makes any sense. I didn't feel like I've never felt like I knew how to get beyond myself with that message. And now I feel like I've opened the doors. I've opened the floodgates to being able to say that. And we've done a lot of stuff that I think has touched people over the last year. But even there, I wasn't feeling so confident that I could just say it to everybody.
Yeah.
And so even when I thought maybe I think that we had the words in the email sequence right, and I wouldn't feel comfortable that I knew what to say on Facebook to get people to sign up for the email sequence. So I'd be less likely to put it out there.
Mm-hmm. And now you feel confident in it all, right?
I feel confident in it all. Yeah.
I love that. And that's so awesome. And I think that's the energetic, when we talk about law of attraction, that I know I'm speaking to people, whether or not I can see anyone standing in front of me in the moment. Mm-hmm. That's the energy, right? You know they're going to come in because you know you're speaking to them. Versus before, I think it was probably like, God, I hope they come in. I hope somebody gets this. I hope they understand. I hope they say yes, right? Or some form of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is awesome. And I just really want to hit home for listeners. Like, that's the difference. Like, that is the law of attraction. It is about the words on the page, because it's about them lining up with, especially in this scenario we're talking about clients and you, right? It's mm-hmm. them lining up with the coach and the client. The words do matter, but it's it's the words that create the alignment and the energetic connection.
Or it's the energy that finds the words too.
Both, right? Yeah.
So
yeah, you're absolutely right. It goes both ways. So
it goes
talk
both
about that.
ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because once the energy is there, I think we were talking a while back about how now I used to wake up with these the idea of the day or the idea of the week or
the idea of the minute.
And then I'd come on the phone with you and you'd say, no. And there was something in them. Sometimes there was some good in them, but a lot of times there was a lot of desperation in them. There was like, what? Gotta make it work. Gotta make it work. Gotta make it work. But this time I'm waking up saying, I know what to say. Mm-hmm. I know what to say to her. And so I'll get up and I'll blast out 10 pages of script or 5 pages of script or even the one perfect moment of script that just says to the person who's looking to not feel like she's felt for the last 6 months or whatever, that there's a way to do it and a way to feel better. And it feels like the words are just there way more often now.
That's awesome. That is so exciting, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's creating both that two-way street of of energy that gets that going. And they are there. We are speaking to your future clients, so we know that they're there. And I think one of the cool things that's happening is you have two potential clients on the books, do true strategy sessions for today, right? And these people, they didn't quote unquote come from the cleanse, but they came from the cleanse because they came through this newfound energy, because we've talked about it in the last interview, how this cleanse was a total up-leveling of your being, right? Mm-hmm. We spent the last years getting the words and figuring that and really becoming that person who could speak. But this was a whole up-level. How do you describe that up-level?
So much of it, you and I have talked about this a lot, and for me, coming from who I've always been, I've always been very science oriented. I love digging into the underneath and understanding how all of this stuff goes together. And so for years, I've been going out with all of this science stuff, and it's great because the people who really love the science stuff take it and they say, oh, now I got it. I'll see you later.
Right? They say, thank you for putting all this research together in one nice little paper, which I think you would agree is what used to be your email.
And I still have it. If you want it, just let me know. I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
But it's, but what I realized is that that's not enough. It's not, and it's certainly not what everybody needs right up front. They need to know less and more. They need to know I care. Mm-hmm. They need to know that I'm willing to dig for the solution that'll work for them. They need to know that the solution is unique to them. Mm-hmm. You know, I look a lot at a lot of these programs that come out in $28 books or $37 programs, and they're all just, here's, follow these 5 steps, and the cleanse has a few steps to it, but it doesn't purport to be the be all and end all. It's the start. Mm-hmm. It's the door through which you can start feeling better. And so it's a way to help people move into that space where it's unique to them, but still get started in a way that works for most people. I won't say it works for everybody. It works for most people.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a lot of what came out of it. And I would say, as your coach, the thing that I've seen you step into in terms of the beingness up level is, number one, taking ownership that you could put together a cleanse like that. And that really up leveled your beingness. But number two, like, really stepping into this higher level coach. And part of that is understanding that less is more, right? They need less in the beginning, and they're going to need more down the road, but that's for when you're working together. But up front, they need to know it's not their fault. They need to know you've been there. They need to know that you care, and they need to know that you do have a solution that they might not have heard before. That's not just to take a pill or to do this or to do that, but that. And so owning, I think all of that is the beingness up level that I've seen as your coach in the past month.
I think sometimes I'm so deep into it that I don't even, this is one of those that you and I have talked about this before. We've talked about it on podcasts before. There's probably going to be that little backlash that happens somewhere here that I'm going to say, oh my, what the? Can I say the word?
I can mark it explicit.
But it's good. I'm going to say, wait a minute, what did I do to myself? What did I get myself into? But right now I'm just really, really excited about being the person who can say, and when I first did this, when I did this one back in January, there were all these caveats and all these, here, if you don't like it this way, do it this way, or if you don't like it this way. And it was trying to be so many things for so many people. And now it's just 5 days to it.
Yes. Which is like coaching, like that is it, right? Because there's just this energetic that says, I'm in charge. I'm the coach. I'm the leader. Here's what you do. And you just do it. Right. And that's again, an up level. Yeah. Right. Just do it. Yeah. I'm not going to change for 15 people. Right. You sign up and you do it. And that's the way it works.
Yeah.
Because it works. And I think that is part of confidence that people don't understand is like, have the no, this works. I don't need to change it for you and for you and for you over there. Like, this is what works. I know what works because you know your stuff, because you've lived your stuff, you've done your stuff, you've researched even more about your stuff. And so you know it. And it's that confidence of ownership that comes and is also part of the up level that I think you've had.
I think one of the funny stories about that is I'm my own worst client, of course.
Right.
I'm also my own best client. I'm my
right.
own success story. But now I'm my own worst client. And I decide, and of course I've tried the cleanse 3 times now. I've gone through it 3 times in the last 3 months. And the first time I went through it, day 3, I call it the day of ick, because it's a time when you, the cleanse starts happening and your brain you're changing over energy systems. And for a lot of reasons, it can be a day that you don't feel as good. But the second time through, I said, oh, well, I don't have to eat that much. And maybe I'll exercise a little more because I'm trying to train for this. And I got super sick on day 3. Day 4 and day 5 were even worse. And I had actually been exposed to the flu too. So it was like, just listen to yourself and do it the right way. And the third time through, it was just fabulous. I had a day of fairly low energy, day 3, but picked right back up on day 4 and day 5. And I felt really, really good at the end of the cleanse, and I felt awesome. And it's, now I had gotten, there was a little bit of self-doubt in there, and it was like, oh yeah, just do what you say you're supposed to do and you'll be fine.
Right? I love that. And I love coaches who do this work on themselves, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, so tell us what the cleanse does.
So the cleanse is all about taking your body and supporting it for 5 days in really good eating, the right way to exercise, because so many of us think that we're trying to lose some weight, or we're trying to get back in shape, or whatever it is, and we're trying to beat ourselves up. So we do a lot of extra exercise. And when you're trying to support your body, it's like telling your body, oh yeah, we love you, and by the way, here's some punishment. Remember when I don't know about you, I was not the athletic kid in grade school, and when they'd say go run around the field 2 or 3 times, it was like, oh. I mean, and remember when my sport was your sport's punishment, is what runners say. So, we do all this stuff to punish ourselves, and then we don't take the time to deal with our stress the right way. So the cleanse has pieces about eating right, and the cleanse has pieces about exercising and moving right, and the cleanse has pieces about managing your stress and taking the time to take care of yourself. And so it's 5 days of really supporting your body in a way that's going to reach back and start to deal with the hormonal imbalances that come with changing over as we hit this time, our menopause journey, from the time our reproductive system starts to change through when it's finished changing, and our bodies are used to it and not throwing temper tantrums every 6 weeks. So it's really designed to deal with some of the common hormonal imbalances, so that your body can start to normalize again, and you can start taking care of yourself again.
Awesome. Very cool. So let's talk about working and how that's felt.
So you and I both talked about working and feeling like I had to, I guess going back a few months, 6-8 months ago, where I was feeling like I had to sit at my desk for 8 hours or 10 hours a day, and yet I wasn't being productive.
Mm-hmm.
What was coming out wasn't useful. It was a lot of these crazy ideas and dead ends. I'd go rabbit trails I'd go running after. And so we cut back, and you said, stop. Don't, first of all, schedule this amount of time. We cut it down until it was a sensible amount of time. So I was working with my clients, yes, but working on marketing was taking less and less and less time. And then it got to the point where it wasn't being productive at all, and I was getting the majority of my production out of your meeting with you. Mm-hmm. And I come out of that, and I'd be able to get maybe some more time that day. But lately, I tune more and more and more into my future self, and tune more and more and more into this message that I'm feeling so comfortable with. And I don't know that I'm working huge amounts more, except when I get really super excited about getting, the last few days of last week were big, long days because they had a lot of technical work going on. But it was still this sense that the working was fun and exciting, and not drudgery and not scary. So it's just been a whole different feeling about it.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So you defined it before we started recording as like being in the flow, right? And everything works better. You're more and more in touch. You work better, and it all works better. So the pieces all flow better. You don't get as many hiccups, right? Mm-hmm. What would you define? How did you used to define flow, or did you think you knew what it was?
I think I used to think it was more like those rabbit trails. Because
That
rabbit trails are fun.
Oh, totally. Right. They're super fun.
They're
Right?
super fun. Until you look around because you're at the bottom of this hole and you say, how did I get here? And maybe even more important, how the heck do I get out?
Right. Yes. I think that's the thing about rabbit holes. How did I get here and how do I get out?
Yeah.
Or you just keep going down the hole, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
fortunately, I usually have a call with you about
Yeah.
the totally
Right. It only goes
stuck.
like a week, right? But like for
Yeah.
people listening, what Jeanne is talking about as a rabbit hole is, ooh, this new fancy idea. I'm going to rewrite this book 100 times, or I'm going to, I mean, there were a lot of other ones that are eluding right now, like
joint ventures and
oh yeah,
I'm gonna start a podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do this series or that series, or I'm gonna charge for this, or I'm gonna go down the road and sell Kool-Aid or lemonade or something.
Right. Yeah. Like, yeah. I mean, it could have been as like a rabbit hole can look like, oh, menopause Kool-Aid, right? But it's the thing that, so I'm going to share what I think it is, and then I want you to define it. It's that thing that feels exciting, because the excitement of not being able to, because it's exciting when you can connect to your people. It's like you said, when you know this is going to get out there and this is going to touch somebody when you're writing it, like, you know, that you're already interacting with your client. And as a coach, that's the exciting part. That's what you want. And when nothing is going on, all these, you create excitement by like, I'm going to write a new book. I'm going to create Kool-Aid. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
Exactly. And I mean, one of the things that I have like sworn to myself over and over and over is that I don't sell product.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't sell product. If I recommend something to one of my clients, whether it's a skin product or a supplement or lady care magnets, which I don't actually recommend because I don't know if they work. It's because I know they work and I'm recommending them, and I don't make a profit off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have all these people who come to me and they say, oh, try my product, see how it works, pay me $99 for the joint venture, for the MLM, multi-level marketing kit, and sell my product, be in part of my line. Mm-hmm. And you can make all kinds of money by getting your people to sell it too. And I say, no, I don't do product. If I recommend a product, I will gladly give you all the profits because I think it's a good product. I know when I'm hitting a rabbit hole if I think a product is a good idea. Maybe I should sell essential oils. Rabbit hole.
Right. Yeah.
Because for me, I mean, I use essential oils. I recommend essential oils to my clients for certain things. I recommend certain supplements. But I do it because I think they work, and I don't necessarily recommend a particular one unless I know something that is definitely superior. But that's how I know when I'm chasing down a rabbit hole, when it sounds like a product would definitely work on
right. Solve the problem, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that. And so when you're in flow, you don't have to do that, right? And one of the things that keeps you in flow, and I want to highlight this, and then I have one more question, is what do you do when, you know, you can't get there or it doesn't feel like work is flowing?
There's a couple of things. The first thing I generally try is to throw on my meditation music, and this is, I use binaural meditation music, which I strongly recommend to anybody. I think it's awesome. And I don't make a profit off it. But, and then I start to script. And if I woke up, I heard the birds singing, or I saw the morning light, or whatever it is that triggers that next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And if that doesn't flow, that's when I know that things are really going to be tough that day. So I'll grab the dog, we'll go out for a walk, and I'll put something into, being in the world. If I come back and it's still not working and I still can't script, sometimes that'll be the day that I just go shopping or go to the museum or go take a friend to lunch or something, because sometimes it's just not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes whatever you pump out of a space like that is so disconnected from your clients and from you that it's not worth doing.
And you finally learned that, right?
Exactly.
That it's not more powerful to power through that moment, right? It's more powerful to take the dog for a walk, go to lunch with a friend, then go to the museum and wake up the next day and have that script hit you and go write it in 10, 15, 20 minutes easily. Yeah. I love that. That's super powerful. So I want to circle back to this question that kind of came up in the middle, but it's like the difference between technical, were we calling it alignment, and energetic alignment. And I think the reason that it started is we were talking about something, but I want to talk about it in terms of you can technically be aligned. You can hit all the points that are supposed to be on a sales page. You can do all of those things, but that energetic alignment is different. And so for you, I think, I know, we've been working the system. You've been putting out stuff for over a year that speaks to your client, that doesn't, what's interesting, and I was actually thinking about this the other day, if you took out some of those templates that you used to use that people said to use, I'm guessing that we follow a lot of those without knowing it, but because we're speaking to them. But when you try and put it into a template and you're disconnected, it doesn't work.
And I think, it's interesting because I think a lot of the technical stuff and these templates, and I admit there's still times when somebody's pitch for 16 emails that'll never fail,
right?
and I'll go and it only costs me my email address, and I've got 6 or 7 throwaway ones of those. I'll go sign up and I'll open them up and I'll say, yeah. And they don't even talk to me. How could they possibly talk to my client?
Yeah.
And then there's a couple of groups that I'm in, and somebody will say, well, what do you think about this for a pitch to my clients? And I'll have to answer back, I'm not your client. How could you possibly want my opinion?
Right.
I mean, I can't step into your client. I don't know who she is or who he is. Why would you want my opinion about that? So I think there's so much out there as coaches who think that there are formulas, who think that there are ways that you can just tick all the boxes and have everything work. And they don't. They don't.
Why?
Because there's a narrow band of people that you want to speak to. Mm-hmm. I mean, my band is women who are struggling with menopause and have no idea why. And yeah, there are millions of them. But all menopausal women aren't my clients.
Right.
All menopausal husbands of menopausal women aren't my clients. Certainly all 20-year-olds aren't my clients. And if that's who you're speaking to, then you can't help me reach them if
right.
you don't know what they need to hear. Mm-hmm. And and probably somebody sitting here and looking at you and saying, but Cassie's, woman in her early to mid 30s, and how does she know? And I don't think you did at first.
It took learning. Yeah.
It took a lot of learning. And one of the things that I think is amazing about you as a coach, and the reason that I say to everyone, this is a person who can sit down, and because she listens to who you are in the future, she can see who you should be reaching out to and how they think. And she can read that because she sees who you are.
Absolutely.
And that's been the cool thing about this relationship.
It's amazing. And that is how this got started. I didn't set out to be able to do this or put this in the plan, right? But it was working with you. And when I saw your future self in an event that we had, so crystal clear, like I knew her, I'd been getting to know her, but I saw her and I heard her full on. And then you would say things that didn't match up. And I'd be like, you don't say that to your clients because you like, that's not your future self. So I knew that there was a mismatch, right? And then we could dive in. And once I started saying, you don't say that, and then it's like, well, what do I say? Right. And like, I don't know.
I kept saying, yes, I say that. I say that.
You did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, I say that. I do say that. They all want this. And like, that's not what they hear, right? But yeah.
And I finally learned that, yes, indeed, they don't want that. They want something different.
Yeah. Which is, yeah, it's awesome. And I think the thing that it's led to is we've been speaking to them for a while. And the more that you step into this, and this is what I want to get across to everyone, is that all of that work of the becoming and the doing of the becoming and all of that, everything that we've done in the last year, as you step greater in the cleanse, clients just show up, right? It's not, there will be lots of clients that show up following the cleanse and all of that, but the ones that are showing up pre-cleanse before you've put it out there, that are on your books today for strategy sessions, are because energetically you stepped into that greater beingness.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, it's interesting because I know that there are a lot of people out here who listen to this podcast and they're wondering, well, why are you guys talking business coaching and not money manifestation all the time? And it's interesting because like that last year we had, not 2018, but 2017, I had an amazing amount of money just sort of show up out of nowhere at the last part of the year. And that's really important. But for me, it's always been about this move to share this. This is the manifestation I want. It's not just about clients, but it's about having this greater vision and being able to share this more with the world. So I guess what I'm saying is that while Manifest 10K started out as a money manifestation program, and I read your books for that reason, there's really more to it than that, because as I started working with you and as I worked with you more and more, it was not about manifesting cash or having abundance there, although that's nice. It's about knowing who you want to be and what you want to get out of the world, and being able to let yourself draw the path back to you to get there. And that's been the fun part about this and the important part about this.
I love it. So, of course, we'll continue this conversation in about a month and talk about all the people joining the cleanse and all that. But for right now, tell people how they can, the primary reason somebody would do the cleanse and how they can start with it.
The primary reason to do the cleanse is because you don't feel like you are at your best anymore, or maybe that you never were, that you'd like to be feeling better. And you're somewhere in your menopause journey because it's designed for those hormonal balances in particular. So if you're between the ages of 38 and 65, this is going to change the way your body is acting. Plain and simple. You can find me at menopause.guru. And if you hit /the-cleanse, THE-CLEANSE, you'll get right to the sign up page and you can watch the video. 7 minutes, I'll tell you all about it. Sign up. You can sign up to start the day after tomorrow, or you can sign up to start the next Monday, depending on what works best for you. Some people do work best with starting on Monday, and some people work best starting right now.
I love it. Thank you so much, Jeanne, for being here and sharing this part of your journey with us.
Thanks so much for having me, Cassie. This is so much fun.
It's amazing. And thank you all for listening. Make sure to come back and check out Jeanne's next interview to see how her story continues to unfold.
I love helping people manifest money because when you're learning to use the law of attraction, money is such a great tool. It gives such instant feedback. There's so many opportunities to see how the energy is flowing through you and where you might be getting tripped up or not allowing it to come in. So if you've had trouble manifesting in the past, you might want to use money as a way to learn how to use the law of attraction. Now, I have helped thousands of people manifest millions of dollars using my system Manifest 10K. And now I would love to invite you to join me complimentary and pay based on your success. You heard me right. You can join, get access to my very successful program, the Enchanted Circle, and most of all, my coaching for when you get stuck. And then you can pay me 10% of what you manifest after you're successful. If this sounds good to you, go to payafteryoumanifest.com to apply. That's payafteryoumanifest.com.
Thank you for joining us on the Law of Attraction Manifesting Success Stories show. To learn how to attract more money into your life, go to your favorite book retailer and order Cassie's book, Manifest $10,000.